2, 3, funk it.
How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to try and give my humble opinion on what I believe is the best daily driver for the car enthusiast. Now, what I mean by this is the car enthusiast who has a couple separate builds on the side, but needs something that he can just get in and go and not have to worry about a thing going wrong, or it not starting, or something else going wrong with it. It needs to be able to drive every day and do the daily task that you would ask of it. Now, there's a few parameters when it comes to having a daily driver vehicle. Now, depending on the person you are, those different parameters are going to decide upon you. However, me, when I was looking for a daily driver, I needed something to keep the miles off of both of my classic Lincolns. If you're interested in those, check out the rest of the channel. I have plenty of videos on all of my vehicles. As well as I have several videos over the car that I'm about to show y'all. But that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about the best daily driver for the car enthusiast. Your list might be a little bit different than mine, and that's totally fine. Now, without further ado, I'm going to give you my humble opinion on what I believe is the best daily driver vehicle for the car enthusiast. Oh, bam! Yes, that would be the first generation 2007 through 2012 Lexus LS 460. Now, when I was looking for my daily driver vehicle, I had a very strict list that I wanted to follow, and the car had to meet every single one of these requirements while also staying under a $7,000 to $15,000 budget range. Now, I believe that this car is honestly hands down the best car you can buy in this price range. There's honestly, for a daily driver vehicle, you're not going to get what you're going to get from this car for the amount of money that you're spending. Now, around this price range, as far as four-door sedans go, you're looking at Charger RT, Chrysler 300 with the 5.7, G37s, some G35s, Mercedes S-Class, BMW 5 Series, things like that nature. Now, there may be a couple cars that I'm leaving off of that list, but that's just a brief rundown of this price range. Now, I left off the Toyota Camry, Honda Accord, Nissans, and whatnot. But that's because those cars just kind of did not meet my criteria of vehicle that I was looking for. Now, number one on my list for my criteria of things that I was looking for is it had to be fuel efficient. Driving around town, if I drive this thing conservatively, I can get anywhere from 19 to about 22 miles per gallon. That's if I keep my foot out of it, drive it super conservatively. On the highway, I've seen this car, and I've actually calculated this at the pump, I've seen this car get anywhere from 27 to 32 miles per gallon on the highway. Now, that is just crazy considering that this car has a 4.6 liter dual overhead cam V8 engine. Now, number two on my list is the car had to be reliable. Now, reliability is just not something Mercedes, BMW they're just not known for that when it comes to the luxury automobile department. Now, with Lexus, you are getting Toyota reliability. Toyota really knows what they're doing when it comes to making a reliable vehicle. I bought this car with 134,000 miles. It currently has 144,000, I think, give or take. And I have not had a single issue out of this car. I've just done routine maintenance. I did have to put brand new tires on it. But other than that, nothing but routine maintenance. And this thing has treated me very, very well. Now, that's not to go without saying that if something were to go wrong on this car, such as the brake actuator, or there's a couple other things that are kind of common to go wrong in these vehicles, that if they were to go wrong, it is not cheap to fix. However, cross my fingers, this car has treated me very well, and I've not had to do anything to this vehicle since I've gotten it. So yes, it had to be a reliable vehicle, and that's just something that you can't say for Mercedes or BMW. Now, number three on my list is it had to be fun to drive. Now, being a daily driver vehicle, this category might not be on everybody's list. However, for me, I need something that I enjoy driving all of the time. If I'm going to spend my money on it, I want to like it, okay? Now, the great thing about the Lexus LS 460 is it comes with a 385 horsepower, 4.6 liter V8. It's rear wheel drive. and it also is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission that, by the way, is an amazing transmission. Now, to modern standards, it's not as good as, say, as the 10-speed and the Mustangs or anything like that, but for a car from this era, 2008, this is a 2008 model, it is amazing. That 8-speed really does wonders when it comes to the fuel economy. I'm not kidding. You could cruise at like 100 miles an hour doing 2,400 RPMs and making about 23, 24 miles per gallon doing it. Not only does this car boast some pretty respectable numbers, it also handles amazing. For a car this size, 42 to 4,400 pounds, I believe, this thing handles amazing. Now, that's not to say that in the corners you don't feel the weight. You definitely do feel the weight, but it is very, very controlled. Now, aside from handling, this car is just so comfortable to drive. When I say this thing glides across the road, this thing quite literally glides across the road. Pothole? What pothole? This thing does a lot of different things very well. It handles good. It drives nice. It's very, very comfortable. I mean, it is a luxury vehicle. The thing about the Lexus LS460 is it is a luxury car as well as a sports car. However, the LS460 puts luxury first before anything. Now, fourth on my list that this vehicle needed to have is it had to have modern creature comforts. It had to have leather. It had to have heated seats. I really prefer my cars to have a sunroof. I love a sunroof in a vehicle. It's just my preference. And with the LS460 at this price range, I mean, you just cannot beat this car. This is a 2008 model year. Now, mine is not in pristine condition. However, for its age and its mileage, I feel as though it's doing just fine. Now, I'm going to try to not go too deep into this because you can make an entire video about the luxury amenities that this car has. I mean, this really is an ultra luxury automobile. So I'm just going to try and give you a little quick rundown of the features of the LS460. So not only do you have heated seats, but you also have ventilated and cooled seats. Now, what I like about this is that it is a physical button. Some cars, they have it where you have to go through a screen, you have to go through a physical thing. This is a physical button that if when you set it that way, it stays that way, and I really, really like that. Not only does it have heated and cooled seats, but it's also got a heated steering wheel standard, as well as parking sensors, as well as this. Now, this is mind-blowing. The headlights in this car at nighttime automatically turn with the steering wheel. If you're turning left, the headlights will point left. If you're turning right, the headlights will point right. It's really, really cool. It's a neat feature. As well as this car has automatic headlights. As well as this car has automatic windshield wipers that can detect how heavy or how bad the rain is. You've got memory seats, as well as, I have never seen this in a vehicle. I'm not sure why this is a thing, but I guess the engineers at Lexus thought, yeah, let's throw this in the car. Now, in the LS460, you do have push button start. Also got electronic headlight washers, navigation, automatic climate control, which by the way works amazing, sunroof, rear window shade for the rear passengers, as well as heated rear seats. The car also has power, which is kind of like a sport mode, normal mode, as well as snow mode. The back seats are probably the best place to be in the entire car besides the driver's seat. I mean, it is just so comfortable back there, as well as you have your own center console with controls. Now, the navigation system is beginning to show its age, but for a car from 2008, it works pretty good. I don't use it, but it is cool to look at. Now, the fifth and final thing on this list, now it's actually a few days later, I was editing the video and the fifth section of my video just completely disappeared. I have no idea what happened to it, but here I am again, it's a few days later. Now, the fifth thing on my list is the car had to have street credibility. Now, what I mean by street credibility, I mean Well, for Lexus enthusiasts out there, when you see a super clean LS400 go down the road, it's one of those things you're just gonna stop and admire it. Same thing for a super clean LS430. I don't believe the LS460's gotten to that point yet. It's still a slightly newer vehicle. But 10, 20 years down the road, I want somebody to stop and look at this thing going down the road and be like, wow, that is a super clean LS460. Not only that, but in the event that neither of my separate weekend cars don't run, which neither of them currently do, I want to be able to take this to a car meet and, you know, show up in style, you know what I mean? And I've been doing that for the past couple months because neither of my cars have been running for months, and I'll get on that eventually, but that's not what today's video is about. All right, we're talking about the LS460. But yes, it had to have street credibility. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that good jazz. And yeah, peace out, y'all.